All right, and then the last problem, I'm going to skip over the example that I have in the notes. I'm going to do problem number 52 in the homework. You guys have a easier version of this in number 48. It's way easier. 48, you're going to use this picture here. And 52 is pretty intense, so that's why I want to do that one with you guys. We got lots of triangles. We're going to have lots of law of cosines and law of sines and all sorts of good stuff. So 52 is really 51, 50, I'm sorry, 52 is really like a combination of law of sines, law of cosines. So we're going to do it all here in 52. All right. So I'm going to cancel this out and I'm going to say number 52. So basically, I'm going to just redraw this picture. Okay. It's not going to be perfect, but you guys are going to get the idea. Oop. This is kind of like this. There's 3 triangles in this picture. It's really fun. All right. So it's kind of had this shape, right? It's a little bit more elongated, but that's not really the point. We're given this angle as 14.1 degrees. We're given this angle as 56.1. We get 37.8 right in there. 106.1 here. 79.2 here. And then we're given that this is 4.61 miles, and then we're given that this is 12.9 miles. Okay, and I'm just going to label their dots or these points with the initial for each of those names or whatever. So I'm going to call this point C for Cambria. I'm going to call this P for Paso Robles. I'm going to call this T for Templeton. A for, I'm not going to say that because I'm going to get it wrong. And I'm going to do Y here because that's another C, but that one has a Y in it. Okay, so this is 52. This is literally just setting it up. So we want to find the distance between Cambria and Paso Robles right here. So I'm just going to call this X. That's our goal. That's what we want to find. Oh my God. How are we going to get there? Well, we've got to find pretty much, I kind of think of this as like a little path. We got to get this side, and then we got to get this side, and then we're going to get this side. So we're going to kind of like jump from triangle to triangle. And the reason why we're going to start here is because this triangle, this YTA triangle, is the one that I know the most about. Okay, so don't get overwhelmed. Don't be like, oh my God, what's happening? It's going to be fine. And ignore the other stuff right now. All right, we're going to focus on this triangle right here. So I have a side angle side triangle, and I'm going to find this side here so I can get the next side, and so I can kind of carry on this path. So if I have side angle side, that means I'm going to use the law of cosines. So I'm going to just call this ty, and I'm going to say ty squared is equal to, and the law of cosines says, square the two sides that you know, so 4.61 squared plus 12.9 squared. Then subtract 2 times those sides, and then multiply by the cosine of the angle between them. That is what it says. All right. Notice I don't even actually reference the formula. I just go off of what the formula tells me to do. So ty is equal to the square root of all of this. Now, there's going to be some rounding involved. I am aware of that. This is going to be a monster problem. So if you can get through this problem and we can just, round as we go, I'm kind of okay with that because of what this problem is asking. It's asking a lot. All right, so this looks like a beast, but the good thing is your calculator is going to handle all of it. So I'm going to just plug this into my calculator the way it's written. 4.61 squared plus 12.9 squared minus 2 times 4.61, 12.9, cosine 79.2. Okay, 12.86. So 12.859, so 12.86. All right, this is miles. All right, so as I find out information, I like to label as I go. So there we go. I can label that right in there. So now I want to find this side. Now, to make our lives a little bit easier, I actually, like, if I look at this middle triangle now, like, the only thing I'm, like, really missing from this middle triangle, besides these two sides, and like I said, I'm just going to try to continue on this path, is this angle right in here is not that hard to get. So I'm going to get this angle right in here, because then I have a pair, and then I can use law of sines, pair, and then do this pair with this 106.1 and that side to kind of keep going and kind of keep, like I said, going along this path. So I'm just going to find this angle by doing the 180 rule. So 180 minus 106.1 plus 37.8. So we're going to get 36.1 degrees. So this is 36.1 degrees. Like I said, the reason I did that is so that I get a pair, so I can do pair for this piece. I'm not worried about finding about ambiguous case or anything like that, because I'm not using law of sines to find an angle. I'm just finding a side. So let's find this side, TC. So I have sine of 36.1 over 12.86. We rounded this, but that's going to be okay. Is equal to the sine of 106.1 over, I'll call that TC. We cross multiply, we get, and I'm going to kind of do this in one step here because we've done law of sines already. We're going to get TC is equal to 12.86 sine of 106.1 over the sine of 36.1. That's what we're plugging into our calculator. 12.86 sine of 106.1 divided by the sine of 36.1. Okay, so we get 20.97 for TC. Miles. All right. Okay, and actually, believe it or not, we're actually almost done. So if we look at what we have again, we're done with these two triangles here. So now I'm actually only dealing in this triangle. So if I have this side, I have two sides, I have two angles. I kind of can, I always say I have two sides. I have one side, I need to find the other side. But like, I kind of have like a nice little path in order to go from here. So once again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find this angle in there. That's going to complete all the angles in that triangle, and then that will give me the pair that I need to find, and this 20.97 gives me a pair with 56.1. And if you have two pairs, you can use the law of sines, and with obviously one pair being complete. And we don't have to worry about the ambiguous case because we're not using it to find an angle. So I'm going to find this angle right in here. It's going to be 180 minus 56.1 plus 14.1. And that's 109.8 degrees. All right. So we'll just do it again. Sine of 109.8 over x is equal to the sine of 56.1 over 20.97. All right. We cross multiply. I'm going to kind of do this in one step because we've seen law of sines already. So this is going to look like 20.97 sine of 109.8 over the sine of 56.1. All right. Plug and chug. 20.97 sine of 109.8 divided by the sine of 56.1. 23.77. And there is our answer. So if you get overwhelmed by a question like this, and like I said, you have 48 to do. 48's not nearly as intensive as this one. But I always like to say, okay, how like, what's my path? How do I get from where I'm starting to where I can go? And like, because you think about all the stuff that you're given, think about all the information you could potentially find, but how do we get there? If you found other additional information here, you wouldn't be wrong, but this is the fastest way to get there without finding anything as too much extra. I know we found the angles extra, but that I don't consider that too much extra. So starting at A, getting all the way to X, hitting up these sides as we go. Like I said, 48, they kind of walk you through it a little bit, So make sure you go through 48 and take a look at what I did.